Oh man. Ah,
Oh, don't freeze
man,
on me.
man, you gotta stop with the freezing as this episode starts, man.
I don't know what's going on.
Listen, eh, listen, y'all. Y'all already need to donate $20 so King Dom and I can get some better internet because my man just down bad there in Texas. Mm, 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 mm.
All
There
right.
you go. Finally caught up. Welcome to the 21st century,
I don't
man.
know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know.
Eh, You got that 1999 dial up. That's what it is.
Nah, it's like I got AT&T service over here and
That's
stuff.
the problem right there.
I
There it is.
don't, but it's like I do have like AOL or something. I don't know
Mm.
what this
Got the disc booted up, forgot to add
floppy
some
disk.
minutes. Yeah, got to blow into it before this.
Yeah, you remember back in the days, AOL used to give you the discs, the little free
Yeah,
trial discs. You used
mm,
to plug it in. Except
yeah,
it's hard because I got a Mac desktop, so it's like I got to try to find where to plug it in. So
yeah. That's right. That's
but
right. Hmm.
But how was your week, G?
Oh, it was pretty good. I was in the kitchen cooking today. I was chefing, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, instead of just talking about this stuff, I should just start on my own live stream cooking with AB. You know what I'm saying? Where I just teach y'all how to cook, some recipes and stuff. But hey, and that's for another episode. You know what I'm saying? But I had a good week, man. That's why I named this week's episode "Keep on Pushing" because that's what I was doing all week. Keep on pushing. I was busy at work, a little stressful, just a little bit. But I just kept on pushing. So
Mm. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you had a busy week. Mine wasn't busy. It was just seemed like it was like matrix slow. Like it was just like the days were going, like the days were flying, but the like work days were just like slow motion throughout the whole week. So it's like I'd be looking, and when you be like, and it don't be like I'd just be sitting not doing nothing, but it just be like, you be feeling like you've been working for like 3 hours, and you look up, and it's like 15 minutes went by. You're like, this can't be like why, and then you be like back to working, and then like another 20 minutes went by. Like, come on, man. And then it's like, so the work day gets like super slow. And then it's like the moment you get off work, time flies. It's like a slingshot. It's like, and as soon as you get off work, it's like, let go. And then it's just like time's flying. And like, you looking up, and it's like, it's already 9 o'clock. Dang, man. But
yep. And as soon as your eyes close,
yep.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
but
And here you are, like, dang, it's 5 a.m. already, or whatever time you get up.
5.
Yeah.
And then they'd be
I
like,
feel you.
you'd be trying to hit the snooze real quick. Like, hey, I'll take the. Mine wakes up or reminds me every 9 minutes. I'd be like, I'll take the 9 minutes. Let me go ahead and then let me cuddle for 5 more minutes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, week was good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that, man. But welcome back to another episode of the 2635 Club. I didn't even, I didn't even get to do that because you came in all frozen and stuff. You know what I mean? But we appreciate everybody that is in the chat so far. Shout out to y'all. So, but we got another good episode for y'all. We talked
You always
last
got
week. We had what'd you say?
so you always gotta start negative. And
No,
just
I just wanted to make sure they knew we see them. They outside in line waiting for us to open the doors. Bouncer at the door. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to make sure they feel welcomed. Get yourself
okay.
some glass of water. AB's menu is out today. Guess what the drink of the week is?
White Claw.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not that. It's a lemon water with a splash of club soda.
You and these corny drinks.
Listen,
Corny
man.
drinks. At least
All
I'm
right.
like, I know you know sophisticated now. You at least like bring out some wine or something. You just be like water and lemon juice. Like, oh, come on, man. Like,
They
nobody.
not
This is why a
okay.
club don't be selling out like it's supposed to, because your menu is trash.
Listen, my menu is for the people with the elite taste buds. The people who don't understand my drink
Yeah.
choices don't need to be drinking them. That's all that is.
Yeah, expired CO2 water. That's basically what that is. It's like when when you go to McDonald's and they out of CO2 and you can get the Sprite. And it's like, what is this, salt water? It's like, that's your drinks.
No,
Mm.
you know, y'all try a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of water, and club soda. Probably like 1/5 club soda, 2/5 lime, the rest water.
You know he do not, ladies and gentlemen, he do not be doing no measurements. He just be guessing and stuff. It was like that one video is like the lady, she was like, and 2 ounces of vodka. And she's like pouring the heck out of it and stuff. So
Uh,
we even got guests out here saying add some Bacardi. That's what you gotta do, man. You gotta put some drink in it.
oh my goodness. No.
Yeah. They at your head in the chats. There ain't no water
Uh,
in here.
Listen, you don't need no Bacardi to that. All you need is a little bit of lemon. Greg, you just need a little bit of lemon. 2/5, 2/5. That's it. That's all you need. 2/5 club soda. You put too much in there, then it's over. You can't even
This is coming from someone that used to drink White Claws
listen.
and Four Locos before we went out. This is crazy. The
That
change. You are
that is
definitely
in
becoming a dad now. You
that
you
is in the past, sir. Do
you
you
need
see
your
this? This is the
you need your
beard of a
Nike
man that
Monarchs
drinks
and tube
Riesling,
socks.
a little bit of white wine.
Oh, look, you frozen. You was talking about my internet and it's you. Look, see, the Lord knew you was talking some BS and put you on and froze you. Nobody wanted to listen to all that. Look, he gone. Crazy. He done disappeared on us.
I'm
Look,
back. I'm alive.
see, look,
Hey,
that's what,
yeah,
look,
can you hear me?
karma. Keep it pushing because karma came back on you for all that trash you was talking. You still frozen though. Mm, mm, mm. AB was talking all that trash about my internet. Now look at him. Do. Oh, look who decided to show up. Look,
I don't know what's going on.
it's because the Lord know you BSing and he ain't about that. He like, look, don't be lying to these people about what you used to do, what you
I
do.
wasn't. Look, a lie was not about to be uttered
Hey,
out
the
of my
Lord, hey, the Lord he froze you for a reason. He was like, we ain't speaking this nonsense today.
dang. And now the live is down on FB. That's crazy.
Look, know what? Look, see, look, you ruined everything. You was talking about my service. God came and punished you. You was talking lies. God came and froze you. Mm.
Okay, we back up now. We back up. We back up. So okay. All right, y'all. If anybody's still out there on the live, just throw something in the chat so you know we're connected. I think we are, but
You keep
I,
freezing.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm not
It's
sure.
crazy.
They don't want us to get in the show. You know what it is? Because we got banned on TikTok for absolutely no reason. Well, now we know what the reason is. We finally figured it out after like 2 weeks, and now everything else is falling apart on us. Ridiculous.
Yeah, TikTok kind of did us bogus, but that's cool because we keep it pushing. We huddle up. We game plan for the little obstacles that we run into, and now we got a new concept that's about to come down. Probably will start next week. We were talking about.
Yeah.
All right, so new concept that we're doing is called the pre-game gaming, and basically what that is instead of you guys having to wait a whole until 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, what is it, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific,
Mhm.
we're gonna hop on an hour early, 30, I would say 30 minutes to an hour early, hop on and get some gaming in. We're gonna let you guys vote. We're either gonna get on some 2K, some Madden, some Apex, possibly some Call of Duty, anything. We'll let the fans vote. and then we'll hop on the game, show you either some really good footage or some very terrible footage. Hey, it's one or the other. It's not gonna be. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. It's either dang they was putting that work in, or dang they need to quit gaming. Well, it's one of those two. I'm just letting you guys know, but let you guys interact. Maybe we'll one day let some fans hop on, get some gaming. They be able to give their like 15, 20 minutes of trash talking to us while they probably destroy AB in some games, and then give me a little challenge here and there, and then keep it interacting so we can uphold our standards that we have to for all our live streams. So next week, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, we are going to do pregame gaming. So Club 2635 is going to have, get on. I got Xbox. This man's spent all his money and got a gaming PC. So, he be claiming I got cheat codes, but we'll see what's what, because our pre-test, it looked very ugly for him, for someone who hasn't picked up sticks myself in so long, still giving out L's. So
Listen,
new
y'all,
new
don't
concept, but we're gonna keep it
don't
pushing.
don't let him gaslight himself.
I mean, I could download the test and show the fans
I don't
what
know what you're
happened.
talking about.
Oh,
Listen, you can catch us at 9 p.m. Eastern on X Friday. We'll be gaming. Just forget everything else he brought up. Just only remember that part. 9 p.m. We're gonna be playing something. We'll put a poll out to see what y'all want us to play. Okay, we're gonna be playing something now. We'll be playing something because we can't keep getting banned on TikTok. So
it's because you be over here talking about you a chef and stuff, and they were like, "Let's get this dude off live talking all this nonsense, talking about he a world class known chef and this and that." See, that happens. Look, you was talking yourself up about your drinks and you got froze. And now your live streams was messing up. I think you're the problem. You are the problem.
I don't agree. I don't like it.
Of course you wouldn't
I
agree.
don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Oh, okay.
Well, all right, let's get into the first topic since we've been rambling long enough. But we hope you guys are enjoying the show. We apologize for the technical difficulties we were having there. I'm not really sure what happened, but it looks like we're stable and we are ready to go. So actually, we're gonna start off the show talking about a little bit of sports. I know we tend to have we're still working the kinks out here, so we're trying to see what you guys like, what you guys don't like. But can you pull up the story that you had in mind there? Actually, yeah, you can share. You know how to share, man? Is that too advanced for you?
Oh, now you're gonna be disrespectful and say some stupid stuff. No, it's not too advanced for me. Hold on, let me pull it up though. Um,
But the NFL has been giving us some gems. The season's fast approaching. You guys know if you watch the Forever Rich podcast, the old previous show, you guys know I'm a Steelers fan from Pittsburgh.
boo.
I grew up there. We got a good season maybe ahead. I'm not really feeling and it's funny because I came down. I will tell you, I was a big Aaron Rodgers fan, so I used to love Aaron Rodgers, but he's not the same Aaron Rodgers that he was. But when he was with Green Bay, how many seasons ago now was he left
You
Green Bay?
used to ride Aaron Rodgers. It's like 3 years ago.
3 seasons ago now, because he did two with the Jets, tore his ACL.
Yep.
Yep, and that was the only team he's with. So this is the second team he's been with since departing. So, I think I don't think we're going to be any better than we were with Russ, but you know, because I felt like at this point Russ is better than Aaron Rodgers. That's just my opinion. At this point of their career, not like overall. I'm not crazy, but
Do you think that you guys should have kept Fields?
absolutely, that was probably the dumbest thing. And like I figured they were trying to get I figured they were doing like a lot of the moves this year to try to get Aaron Rodgers and build an offense around him. But I really didn't understand a lot of the offseason moves they made. They were pretty strange, to be honest. And I mean, they added like DK Metcalf, and I mean that's a solid pickup. Like he's a good player, but you're gonna need way more than that if you want to contend, especially in the AFC North. Man, you got Baltimore and Browns. Browns look okay. You know, I mean, they still have a good roster on paper. We'll see how they play. Still Cincinnati, um, and then you got that's a Cleveland. Yeah, that's it. So those, I mean, that's a hard division to win in, and you got to be really competitive. So I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know what they were trying to do.
I just think that I think they want I think they wanted Shador, but because of the off the field negative aspects on it, they didn't want to pull the trigger. And then him and his dad being a how I don't know how, but a distraction kind of also played a big part into it. So, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't think you guys will still get your 10, 11 wins, maybe make a wild card, lose in the first round. So, um,
That's honestly what I suspect, unfortunately.
yeah. But we wanted to talk about it's kind of an old one, but kind of still relevant. Kind of falls into. Let me get a better screen up for it. Falls into basically kind of what we um, project, and it's negative, but it's kind of positive in an aspect. And this is the Teddy Bridgewater getting suspended from his alma mater high school for protecting kids, is what he claims. Basically, you know, hold on, let me take a look because I can't remember the name of the school. Uh, ooh, I'm killing it. Miami Northwestern. I'm sorry. Miami Northwestern is a school that he attended to. He was also the coach. He was getting a lot of publicity for it before he became the head coach because, he was going back, I think, after he got cut. I can't remember the last team he was. Maybe it was Tampa. But Minnesota. He got released from Minnesota and then he went back to his high school. They were in the playoffs. He was help coaching them, and then he got the head coaching job. But basically, he got suspended from his school because he was paying for Uber rides. He was, feeding the kids, and he was doing a whole bunch of other stuff that, nowadays with the new NIL stuff and, accepting cash and money, everyone thinks it's frowned upon. But um,
Yeah, they think it's frowned upon because they're not getting the money.
basically, or they're not getting a cut of the money. But, everyone knows some people live in very harsh communities and stuff like that, which Miami Northwestern is not a private school, it's a public school, and it's in Miami. I think it's in Dade County, so it's rough out there in the streets. So he just got signed by, I want to say, Tampa. He was with Minnesota. Now he's re-signed with Tampa, and they did once he did his press conference, they kind of asked him like what was the reasoning behind it, and he basically told him, he was like, "Look, man," he was like, those kids are like my kids personally, and I want to make sure that they get home safe." It's kind of like was it hardball with G Baby? When they used to go home, they couldn't. They had to do it before the lights came. It got dark because after dark, they neighborhoods got too rough out there. He just wanted to make sure the kids stayed in a positive light, and he was trying to make sure they got home safe and nothing happened to them and stuff like that. So, I wanted to talk about it because it's like media sometimes paints you in a negative aspect, or some situation may paint you in a negative aspects when you're actually out here trying to do something positive. So just because some people might write you off or may make you look like you're something that you're not, at least as long as you know you were doing something right and justified, then I think that's something that not a lot of people want to talk about.
I would agree. I feel like we'll probably get into it in the article. I can't really give NFL like when they come down or the NCAA any type of grace for their rules and regulations because it's always just greed. It's always about money. These kids, they've created such a pipeline that you're so dependent on the NFL and their system to try to make pro sports. And if you try to do it any other type of way, they want to slap your hand and they want to be like, oh, well, you didn't do it, you cheated, or it wasn't a fair playing field. It's not fair. The best players go to the same schools, SEC. We already know that. They go to Alabama, they go to
And Big
Michigan.
Big Ten, don't be trying to write out,
Okay, all right, Big Ten. You could throw Big Ten in there, whatever.
the
More
Michigan
recent,
in the Big Ten.
more recently, you get a few teams outside of there, but Auburn, those schools, those are the schools these kids want to go to, and there's pretty much, I won't say there's one way to get there, but there's a limited amount of ways, and so they get so pushed and they grow up in these areas that aren't good. They're not safe. And when someone like Teddy Bridgewater, steps up to try to do something good for these kids, I don't understand, like, what is the negative behind this? You know. Well, whatever. Let's get into the article.
Which was kind of crazy because, well, this is a post, and basically it was just saying like the only reason why they made it a big deal is because he made a post and he was like, "Hey, I need some help." Like he's taking money out of his own, I guess it was his own foundation or something like that, and was paying for these, like I said, paying for these
Mhm.
rides, paying for meals and stuff like that, which is kind of crazy because when I was playing football in high school, like we had team meals, like before a game, like night before the game, stuff like that. We would do like, well, it's mostly like spaghetti stuff, but like we had a donor that was like a mom and pop restaurant that we used to, like they did we used to do banners outside of our fence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they would pay for the banners, and in exchange, or we would give them a free banner, and in exchange for that they would like do team meals and stuff. So they would give us like these big pots of like spaghetti and breadsticks and stuff like that. And we used to eat with like that every pregame, that's or the night before the game. So what we used to do. So I don't understand how that's a huge problem. Now like the Uber rides and stuff like that. I mean, all right, cool, like I guess, but it's not like he was buying them like Gucci shirts and all types of clothing and headphones and iPads and stuff like that, to where it made it seem like he was like paying players to play. It was just like kids in his neighborhood. Now, if it was like he was flying someone out from like Ohio to come to Miami Northwestern to play football, then I can understand. But just because he posted something like asking the community to help him out, I don't see what the big deal about it was. Like, it's not like most people, if they're doing something shady, they're not going to tell on themselves. Well, I take that back, because in today's era, everyone wants to go, uh, they want to go viral and post to anything and everything. But for the most part, it's like when you try and do something positive, like, and you're asking someone for help, like you're really not gonna do some shady stuff like that. Why, especially if you're a public figure like a former NFL player. It just doesn't make sense to me. But the perspective, I guess, is everything. But it is what it is. I mean, um, it's not like like I said, I don't think it's a private school, so it's not like it's a private school to where like these kids is paying like, you know, 50 to 100K a year to attend the school, or you can only get so many scholarships out and stuff like that. So, but
Yeah, and I also feel like it's normal for like coaches and stuff to pull their money together to help pay for kids, equipment, food, stuff like that. Like I feel like that happens on every single sports team in the country. I think every person who plays sports at any level, high school, college, maybe not the pros, but can have a story about a coach helping a kid out or helping somebody out. It there's To me, it's nothing wrong with it.
I think
So
the only bad part is it does show here that they made it to the Class 3A Florida High School State Championship. So maybe bad timing, I guess, because you just went to a state championship. I don't know if they won it or not. It doesn't say that, but you make it to a championship and then you're like saying like you pay for rides and pay for foods and stuff like that. I guess with today's council culture, it can put a bad spotlight on you and make it seem like you're doing something that you're really not. But like you said, coaches used to give us rides all the time, like or they used to give us, like, hey, here's this real quick, or they should, like, hey, I'm gonna take you guys to eat, and team bonding and this and that. Like that was normal when I was growing up. So I don't know what I mean. We're in the new era, so everything's all about money driven. But I just find it fascinating how you can get in trouble for doing basic team bonding type stuff. Other than, like I said, the only thing I can't justify is the Uber rides, but even then, it's still the same thing. Like I said, you're trying to make sure these kids get home safe, because if something bad happens to them, then it's gonna be they're gonna be like, well, why didn't you try to give this kid a ride home or make sure he got home safe type stuff. So it's one of those. Hopefully, my producer doesn't yell at me for saying this, but it's damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation.
yeah, it's like I said, I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. I mean, I understand it. It's about the money, but I don't understand it because it's not cutting into the NFL's bottom line. It's not cutting into the NCAA's bottom line. It isn't. You
Well, it was
didn't lose one. They didn't lose one penny from him helping these kids. Matter of
well,
fact, they probably gained money because these kids are able to make it to the league or the NCAA or the college.
well, it wasn't NCAA, or it wasn't the NFL. It was the high school. The high school is the one that
I mean, it,
suspended
it's.
them.
I mean, it doesn't matter what level it's at. It's not cutting in like high schools do. Okay, maybe in Texas, I won't say high school sports don't make that much money, but in Texas, they probably do make a ton of money.
So
And
does
like
Florida.
you know,
Your big states, Florida.
your big states, but for the most part, your high school sports ain't making you that much money. These schools are funded by the federal government. It's they're schools. They're not sports programs. They're schools.
Well, I
You're
did.
first and foremost schools. So the education is supposed to be what's first and foremost. So that's why it's even more disgusting that you're so worried about Teddy Bridgewater taking these kids to get food or take them home. They're not even probably getting the education that they need because the schools aren't even you allocating the money. They're worried about stupid stuff.
The only thing I would disagree with you about is a lot of your powerhouse high schools are mostly private schools, like St. John Bosco. What's another big one?
But those schools have tuition. So that's a
But
little
I'm still
different.
saying it's not a public. They're not getting state funded. Those are private schools, to where you either have to be on scholarship or you have to pay to go there.
Yeah, but and what I'm saying is that I don't know necessarily like every single school. I don't know what all these students or wherever they were from. This is probably, one of his like private, like I'm helping this school out, obviously, but is that school private or public? Do you know?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
Let me
But
see.
and more than likely, if he's forking out money, it's probably a public school, because otherwise they'd be able to charge, tuition or whatever.
Yeah, it's a public 4-year high school.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a public school with limited funding. We know how that goes. These departments don't have money to spend on.
Yeah, that's crazy, because the first thing that it pops up is like the school has struggled with test scores. So of course it's one of those,
Okay,
but it has a successful football and track program. So
what did I just say? It's supposed to be about the education. They're making it about the sports and the money. Sad, 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 sad. That's all I can say.
yeah.
Anyways, but I wanted to talk about one more thing. Um, I wanted to talk about. Did you hear about Gilbert Arenas and the
Oh,
gambling?
yeah. It was crazy is because I think it was like, I ain't gonna lie, like 2 weeks prior to this announcement, you know, I binge watched all my Netflix shows and stuff like that, and then they had their little Netflix is like 30 for 30, and it was the shooting guard thing with him and that one dude with the guns in the locker room and stuff. So I was watching that, and it was like learning how Gilbert Arenas is, as well as like watching clips of his podcast with Nick Young and them. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, he's one of those little conniving type dudes. Like you could tell he's like one of those. And then this came out. I was like, man, my man can't stay out of trouble. He just doing too much.
Yeah. So let's see. It says Gilbert Arenas, a former NBA star, famously known as Agent Zero, has been arrested and charged in connection with a um, gambling operation illegally run from his residence in Los Angeles. Arenas was detained alongside five other individuals as part of a broader investigation that also encompasses a murder case in high stakes poker. Okay, so they really were turned up back there. All right, so Gilbert Arenas was a prominent figure in the NBA, has been selected in the second round of 2001 draft. He rose to fame as Washington Wizards, as everybody pretty much knows. He was a pretty good scorer. He had an okay career. I mean, I don't think Gilbert Arenas is. I mean, he was an okay player. Like he had his moments where he was really good.
He was the James Harden of the early 2000s.
I, I wouldn't say he was that good. I think James Harden was way
Boy,
better.
he was cold. What you talking about? He got the Wizards up there,
Okay,
boy.
okay, okay. I'm not gonna put him on no James Harden.
I mean,
Are
you
we
over
talking
here.
Rockets, James Harden? Or are we talking Clippers, James Harden?
No, we talking Rockets. He
He
was
was.
the team for the longest.
Yeah, he wasn't better than no James.
You crazy.
No, you crazy. You crazy.
You crazy.
Anyways, several individuals have been indicted alongside Gilbert Arenas in a illegal gambling case. Um, is believed. I don't even know how to say this name. Yevgeny Gershman, as also
Yeah,
known as.
when you
Yeah.
start on names that you can't pronounce, you know you're in trouble. And boy, you out
Yeah.
there doing no good. You might as well just say that you was sending them emails scamming people about you a prince in Africa. So you might as well just go ahead and take the plea deal. Get on out.
Is believed to have link in organized crime in Israel. Okay, this runs real deep. Is considered a key figure in the investigation. Another name I can't pronounce, Evgeny Turovsky or Eugene. Yeah, we're just gonna call him Eugene. Because why even give this man a complicated name like that? Eugene alleged played a major role in managing the gambling operation, while Alan Astraria, referred to as Aleka, is said to have played organized coordinated events. Um, the investigation began in following 2023 murder of Emmanuel Lazilo, who was shot while playing poker at a rented luxury home in Hollywood Hills. His body was discovered on the steps outside of the residence. The Los Angeles Police Department uncovered the network of illegal poker games hosted in upscale homes across Los Angeles by tracing financial transactions and personal connections. Detectives eventually linked the operation to Arena's uh, Intico property. The poker games were far from casual affair. Hosted in lavish residence, including Arena's mansions, the event featured hired staff such as bartenders and chefs. Oh, so they should. I could have cooked y'all a meal and kept it legal. Y'all wanted to just be on some. I don't even know what y'all was on. Chefs and were attended by uh, catered guest lists. Okay, catered guest lists. Sorry. Some reports suggest that certain parties also offered companionship services. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but from what I heard, it's not like Diddy stuff. It was more like they had offered like they had I don't want to call them escorts, but they basically had women there that like were masseuses and stuff like that. That like it wasn't no.
And they
They
had OF models in
they
there.
claimed that they.
That's what they had in there.
I'm just claiming what was being reported. What was being reported is that like there was no sexual activities. It was just like they were just like showgirls, like just like eye candy pretty much for the most part. And basically, from what they were saying, it was just like a high end park uh poker gambling society. Like I don't want to like make it negative and make it seem like he was doing some shady stuff, which he possibly could, but it's like a lot of people have these like high end poker games and stuff like that. So I mean, that stuff's normal now. The all the extra stuff and having getting shootouts and escorts and stuff like that. Like that I don't know. I don't be in those type of parties, but a lot of people have gambling nights and poker nights and stuff like that. So
I
that part
mean,
I don't see
that
weird.
part, whatever. If you like to, play a hand of blackjack or poker with your friends, okay, whatever. I don't gamble, I don't do that, but this is clearly well beyond gambling. I mean, I don't think the LAPD would waste their time arresting NBA players for playing poker. Or would spend their time investigating such a crime if they were just playing poker. So it's probably obviously much deeper than that. But it Gilbert Arenas is just one of those players that just his whole NBA career he just couldn't stay out of trouble, and trouble seems to follow him around. And that's just because he's probably not in a good crowd, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like it's really important about the company you keep, the people you hang around. And he's probably not hanging around people that are, you know,
Or he's hanging out with people that they can get
unable.
away with it and he can't. But
Uh,
sometimes that works too.
that could be that as well.
Because
Anyway,
when you
go ahead.
elevate, the people you hang out with elevate, but backgrounds and stuff like that, you kind of you have certain restrictions that even though you're well known or you're a high society now, you don't get the same access as John Carter. That's 7 time generations have been doing it for since the prohibition era, like type stuff. So I mean, sometimes it's just bad hand. I mean, I don't know, the metaphor kind of ties into the crime, but sometimes you get just dealt a bad hand. You just got to play with it.
But I caveat that by saying you can avoid quote unquote bad hands by making good choices. You know what I'm saying?
You tell
What I'm
me you went to the casino and played a hand and you was like, oh, that was awful, and lost money that you probably shouldn't have thrown
Yeah,
down.
but I mean, what I lost money, but I made the bad choice of going to the casino in the first place, where I wasn't gonna, I didn't have a chance to make a good investment anyways.
Yeah, but if you want, there's been times where you came up from a
True. I
casino
mean,
and then you was like,
the
hey,
high risk, you want to call it high risk, high reward, we could call it that. If
well,
that's, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of, we could go into a million reasons of why he was in the position he was in to even get in this situation. What I'm saying is that as an NBA player or an NFL player, you make more than enough money to be straight and not even have to put yourself in these situations. Like if you take your money and invest it properly, the last thing you should need to be doing is high stake poker games with murderers.
I can't argue with that, but you don't know his financial status
Yeah,
to
I mean, I don't. That's
that.
why I said I don't know. I'm sure he's probably in some type of situation where he might need money or something. So that's why he would even be like, you know what? I'm gonna have these poker games with these killers and have prostitution maybe possibly going on in my house because we know what companionship means. That's a nice way to say they had prostitutes, they had OnlyFans models. That's what they're trying to say. They're just
Yeah,
not saying it in a
no,
nice way.
no Diddy over here, okay?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is sometimes it may not even be that. It may just be people. Some people have too much money that they just get bored, and when they get bored, they start doing stuff that out of their realm just because they they have so much money that they don't know what to do with. Like you have athletes, entertainers all the time that just be blowing through money. Not saying that it's right, not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying like we really don't know the full details. We only know what TMZ or whoever broke the story knows. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I agree. We don't have all the facts. So, anyways, they close out by saying Arenas is due back in court on 23 September 2025. Further details will emerge. So, I thought that was pretty crazy. Like I said, Gilbert Arenas has a pretty prominent podcast for the sports people out there, especially the NBA heads. Um, so yeah, he's definitely doing. He was doing pretty well. So this is surprising, to have to go this route. But maybe that's where the podcast money was coming from, because these illegal poker games.
I mean, when you got big names like himself, Nick Young, and there's like is Keenan Martin
Yeah,
and
Kenyon
somebody else I
Martin,
can't remember the
Beasley be on there sometimes.
as like Al Harrington, I think is somebody else used to that's on there. When you got big names that are like, people are gonna click. That's clickbait just by having those names on there by itself, especially Swaggy P and Gilbert Arenas. Like some
Yeah,
of their takes and even some of their little video clips of them arguing, fighting over basketball games is hilarious, and it kind of keeps people entertaining. So that's always gonna sell. But I get what you're talking about.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, Buddy, Buddy didn't make some good choices. That's all I can say.
Yeah, let's get into this reaction though, because I think this one's gonna be good.
Okay, so yeah, we got a video we want to react to. So we're gonna change gears here and go back to like the more positive theme of the show here. So I just saw this week. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the. I don't know if you're familiar with the Hardly Initiated podcast. Not it started. It started out. So I guess I'll give you a little background. But it started out as a dating podcast, and that's why I kind of wanted to bring this up. But it I felt like it was a really good example of like you're walking a path and a journey, and then like you basically, I wouldn't even call it a fork in the road. You just start going in a different direction that you never expected. And so here, let me pull it up. But why I do that? Have you ever watched any of their stuff?
So you're saying it was a Kevin Samuels type podcast?
No, not on that. Not on that type of level. he wasn't.
I'll
He
just listen.
wasn't. He
But
wasn't doing that.
nah, if it ain't Club 2635, I ain't watching it.
Oh
Like,
man, they got some good stuff
I
though.
only watch
Now,
premiere type stuff. Well, I lie. I watch Club Shay Shay too, but I only watch Top Shelf. You know,
mm,
I don't
this is a
no
good one. I
no
would say.
plastic bottles. It's all premiere
No,
alcohol.
it ain't no plastic bottles. But they end up getting saved, both of them. And
Okay.
so now it's more of a Christian based pod. It's not even more of it. Pretty much is a Christian podcast now. It's still really good though. They do sometimes talk about dating, but it's definitely from the Christian perspective. So um, I'm going to play this part though.
Hopefully,
Bread.
It's that bread.
That daily bread.
It's that daily correct. Exactly.
Can you hear that?
yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. So, I remember, being in this place where I was very excited about something new because we had did our real estate business, I think, for like 4 years or something like that. How long was running the Drive Assets?
Oh man, 20 probably from what was it like 2020 to 2020?
2020, 20.
No, 2019. We started 2019.
Okay, 2019 to like 2022.
Yeah.
2023 kind of got a little hazy.
2023-ish.
Yeah, hazy in
It's
there.
phasing out of that joint.
But I knew I was ready for something else. And the conversations that we would have, these morning meetups we would have it would completely removed from real estate, and it would just be about scripture or some Miles Monroe, sermon that we seen or some book that we was reading, and all of it was around the same thing. So
Yeah.
I knew that I did not want to get into like real estate education, even though that was what our expertise was. I knew that I did not want to get into real estate education. So, bringing it all together, thinking about this initiation process, thinking about what I wanted to talk about, Harley Initiated just made the most sense. Because I think Barely Initiated was an idea, but that didn't really sound good. But the Harley Initiated, it made sense.
Yeah.
And once we spoke about it on the phone, I remember like I was staying off Ponce and I'm in the parking lot, and I was so excited to call you, and I knew I had the idea. And Tyshawn, this is my brother for real, because I don't think there's ever been a time where, you haven't been like, yo, let's do it.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong.
I wanted to stop there because I thought this was like one of the first parts I really thought was key. But I really like resonated with this part because I felt like, we did the Forever Rich podcast for quite a bit and we were trying to get into different ventures. And like, I hit that exact same wall he did where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, And it was like, it was nothing personal, like I didn't think it had nothing to do with you. It was just like, it didn't feel right doing that anymore, And I feel like in life, we hit those walls a lot, but some people push through the wall and just keep going. But I feel like right then, that's your sign right there to like, okay, take a step back or reevaluate what you've been doing with your life and see, where you can pivot. I don't know how you feel, but I felt like that. But when we had that moment there, I was like, when he said that, that reminded me of the moment I had when I was like, yeah, I don't want to do the Forever Rich podcast anymore.
Uh, so what I can from the video clip that you just showed, the one thing that I can speak to and give my testimony towards is the coming to each other with an idea and always coming like positivity or always hey, whatever you need, like hey, let's do it. We've always spoke positivity in each other's life to where it was like hey, even if it was something negative, you'd be like, hey brother, I don't think you need to be doing this, or hey, maybe you should look into this. But you're always there giving me encouragement, like hey, at the end of the day, or each other, I would say. But it'd be like hey, I don't think you need to be doing this, or you need to take a look at this and giving a different perspective. But it's always been positivity. It's always been acceptance. It's always been like, yeah, I'm here if you need me type stuff. So it's like, yeah, when we hit that wall, and then we're like we're still trying to figure it out, and like you said, some people push through, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes you just keep going down the rabbit hole, and you just keep spiraling out until you burn out. So I can understand it. Like you said, I always feel like everything happens for a reason. I don't think life is like you have a destiny or anything like that. But I always feel like the only analogy that I can use is kind of like the metaverse timeline. Like you said, you do get that. Like I think you mentioned, not necessarily a fork in the road, but you kind of get like you have two options. You have the like kind of like the Matrix. You got the blue pill, you got the red pill. Which one do you want to take? And then from that moment, whatever pill you decide to take, then it's the next branch off of that timeline to the next portion, and then you'll hit another wall. Then it's like, all right, this time are you doing the red pill or are you doing the blue pill still? And then kind of go off that way. So it's like sometimes you do need that refresh, and the trials and errors is the biggest less teacher of all, that can educate you the quickest and the hardest. So, like I said, when you came back with a different idea, I wasn't totally on board, but I was like, hey, if you need me, I'm here for you. Like no matter what, I'm always gonna have your back. Like even if you tell me, hey, we got to sell this cup of water, I'm gonna be out there, trying to sell this cup of water because you're my brother. I got love and respect for you, so it's mutual. So it's like some aspects you're always going to be there. Depending on who it is, you're always going to be there looking out for that person. But with after a while, with the concept that you gave me, I was like, I don't know. Like, let me think about it. Let me sit on it for a minute because it was a different concept than that I didn't feel at the time I could speak to. Of course, life changes. You experience new things, and then it was like, all right, let's do it. But then we kind of was like, that idea is awesome, but let's take this route. And then it was like, let's take this route, and here we are. So I mean, everything happens for a reason. So I can't sit there and speak negatively and be like, nah, we should have kept forward. I like, you were wrong or anything like that, because you never know. Like, um, I feel like like the timeline met where the timeline needed to be, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. Everything does, have its, happens for a reason. There's no God doesn't put us on these paths or these pathways just for any type of, reason. There's always an outcome that He has for us, and so I would definitely say, life is the teacher of, I'm trying to use a better word, but life is the teacher that kind of kicks you in the butt and says, "Hey, you're either gonna go here or you're not gonna go here." You know, if you're following what God has for plan for you, then then you're gonna be in line with that stuff. And I feel like when you have that, you're just you're feel fulfilled more so than when you're trying to do it on your own. And when you're trying to be like, oh, well, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do that, and it's a lot of trial and error that you don't necessarily need. You don't even have to do. But I am gonna keep going because there's some more good stuff. But before I start, I just want to say, but I think one of the biggest things you brought up, and one of the biggest things in this first part was having a good support system. You got to have people that believe in your dreams or whatever. If you don't have that, it's definitely going to be a lot harder, right? Because we're not meant to be on this earth doing everything by ourselves. I think right now culture trying to tell like I got to get it out the mud, I got to do it from the bottom, I got to do. You don't. That's not necessarily the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to find somebody.
Who's already done it?
Position yourself. Find yourself somebody who's done it. Find somebody who knows who's done this stuff. So you don't have to do that. So you don't have to get out the mud. You can be like, you know what? I started this business, whatever it is. If it was, you know, pressing T-shirts to, selling cups of water. Now I'm a multi-million-dollar cup seller. Why would I want to go the hard way on selling cups if I know I can find somebody that knows how to sell $1 million worth of cups in a year?
Absolutely.
Some questions, some investigation. But if it sounded like it was something that was, it was good, on the same line of trajectory that you going, obviously personally,
Yeah.
it was like, yo, let's do it. So that was it, man.
And see, I don't even think we really knew what that impact of that decision was going to have on our lives.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing, man. You just kind of notice. And for those of you who on your journey, everybody has their journeys. We've had many testimonies on here. You really start seeing how God moves in all of our lives in these very different places. All of a sudden, you just lose this motivation for something. You start getting into these random environments. You start getting these downloads that start hitting your heart.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you start now moving in this direction.
And stuff just starts popping up.
And stuff just starts happening.
You start meeting people that's in the industry that you want to get in. You start, coming across books and different messages that are aligned with where you're going.
Yeah.
And then you just start getting connected. And little by little, piece by piece, it kind of just starts picking up this traction and momentum. And, man, I remember us sitting down and had that first episode. Matter of fact, the very first episode, you remember that? We filmed that very first episode. We never released that episode.
Yeah, it was trash.
It was trash. Yeah.
That right there, we shouldn't have released our first 8 episodes. But
Hey.
they were trash. So especially the first 3, they were super trash.
But trial and error. We had to know. We didn't know what last week video said, or 2 weeks ago, Tyler Perry. You didn't know what you knew and when you did it. So we were just. Our thought process at that time was like, hey, most people just don't do it because they're scared or they want to make it perfect, and there's never going to be a moment where you're going to be perfect. So you might as well just do it. Accept the learning curves as you go, and then it makes you a better. I mean, if you think about it now, it's like with this podcast, other than the new aspect of going live all the time and having to work multiple platforms, we don't have audio issues like we did when we first started. We don't have. I mean, other than you was talking negatively, and the Lord had to uh humble you and freeze your internet after talking trash about mine. We don't have video issues like that like we used to have. So it's like that trial and error, like I said, it humbles you and it educates you to a certain level that that you need. Sometimes it's okay it's okay, even though it's like you want to get elevated to the right place, and you got to find people that been there, done that. Sometimes it's okay to initially start from the the bottom of the barrel and climb your way up to some portion to where you can find people. You could put yourself in position to find people to elevate you to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. And that on top of that, I think sometimes people don't ap- appreciate the grind, as the grind chips away all the grit and the nastiness off of you. And so you become that refined product, you know what I mean? And so when we first started, yeah, some of the episodes were horrible, horrible, especially like terrible mic quality, terrible audio.
in the closet and
Yeah,
stuff.
in the but you do learn from those things, and you grow and you get better. Hopefully you get better. But I do feel like for some people it's discerning, and or not discerning, but disheartening.
Discouraging.
Yeah, discouraging or disheartening, because they go live and there's only two people viewing their live, and they're like, well, I don't want to do this anymore because only three people were on my live, and no one commented, and they went live 4 days in a row and they only had 8 viewers. But that's just how you gotta, it's a climb, man. You just go work your way up. But if you have that mentorship, you can excel faster than just trying to figure it out on your own, going live every other day, one day playing video games, the next day trying to rap. You know what I mean? You don't have to do all those extreme jumps from one to the other.
Yeah, but you also got to think about it. It's like you also have some way to fall back, because when you're not dependent on something like the new high tech gear or something like that, when you start from the bottom and you work your way up from just using like your basic plug-in mic to your computer, all the way up to now you have the professional dynamic mics and stuff like that, where you can adjust your sound to the grain of it to make it more crisp, more clear, and stuff like that, to where if worst case scenario, if stuff goes back to reality, or something happens to where you got to go back to that old platform, you're not struggling because you already been there, done that. So sometimes it just you got to be well rounded when it comes to your sport, your skill, your task that you're destined to be. But
Absolutely, absolutely,
I just feel um like you said, having that support system and being able to motivate each other, because it's like you said, there's going to be days where it's like you only got one person in your live stream, and you're like, you get discouraged. But it's like the more that, like you said, it's like um a block of marble, and you gotta chisel it to make that masterpiece out. So it's like you got to do all that work, and it's going to be some times where you you hit it the wrong way and it breaks off a piece that you really needed, and you're gonna have to start all over again. But once you get that fine product, then you're set for life.
absolutely. All right, so we'll finish this up. Here we go.
But I remember the first few episodes we shot, and you got to think about this because, and I don't know if you're able to still find this stuff online, because we took some of it down off you, or not YouTube, but kind of removed it from the catalog. But you remember when we first started, we used to have a liquor bottle.
Oh yeah.
And glad to hear Delano laughing.
Yeah.
We literally, liquor was a part. Hey, make sure. Hey, Top, make sure you pick up the bottle before we got in the studio.
Yeah.
Not only do we need drinks for ourselves, we need drinks for the guests. Matter of fact, let's ask the guests what they like to sip on.
That's how we took care of the guests.
That's exactly.
That's how we took care of the guests.
That was us having, being, good service.
And it's crazy because back into the relationship, I had just right at the beginning of us having that idea, I had met this young lady at this point in time. So she met me when I was a very different guy. I'm talking about I was not who I was.
Yeah.
In fact, she lived in a completely different state. She was in Utah. I'm in Atlanta. She was a really watched the content that I put out in real estate, because me and Ryan actually built up a reputation for being really great real estate investors. Had
a great business.
6 or 7 salespeople, had generated over 7 figures, and we would tell our story. We didn't have a course or anything, but we would kind of tell our story, and a few people locally and even nationally would just kind of tune into us and see.
All right, they start talking about their real estate stuff, but I just thought that was a really good story. You know, I thought that was cool. I know something to motivate people. You know, and to see like, hey, you know, if you're thinking of taking that change or you're not feeling what you're doing right now, hey, it's not nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with trying to find what you're meant to do out here. And so don't look at it like, oh man, I don't, people are gonna think, I'm lazy or whatever. If you have a dream, you know, the best way to pursue it is by just getting out there and doing it. So
Yeah, it's never gonna be the right time, the right situation. So you might as well just do it, and then from there on, you take that learning curve and do what you got to do. So, like I said, back in, we picked the wrong I mean, we picked the best time to do it because when we did it, like we had a huge audience because there was nothing else because we did ours during COVID, so it was like nothing. You couldn't do it like that was a source of entertainment for people because there was literally nothing else to do. But like I said, it was just you know um, we weren't able to excel the way that we wanted to initially because we were limited to what we could do based on the environment that we were in at the time. But like I said, everything always happens for a reason. We've always, even at the last project that we had, we would take periods of time off. We would develop ourselves and decompress and elevate our thinking and our we would do readings and all types of different stuffs in ways to uh, give different perspectives in our podcast, and that worked too. I mean, we got refreshed to where it wasn't. We were trying not to be stagnant, and we weren't trying to
be burnt out
throw
either.
stuff on the wall, just hoping that it stick, and just looking like a circus act. So, I mean, after all of it, we had a good following um, for a good hot minute, and then like we said, we life was thrown at us and we had to make a pivot. So here we are at the new pivot, and this is God's calling for us, and we're going to take it and do what we got to do.
Absolutely. But we're out of time now, man. Actually went over an hour. We were gonna do our Reddit story of the week, but we just ran out of time. So
Yeah,
we'll
your bad internet connection ruined it.
yeah, I'm sorry, whatever. I don't know what happened, but we appreciate y'all watching this week's episode. Next week we'll be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing an hour or so of gaming so we don't get banned on TikTok. And then then we will go into the episode. So we hope y'all tune in again next Friday. And if you're enjoying this content, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Share this out. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord. We have a Discord. We're trying to grow like a network for people who like the content, so people can talk, and we want to bring people on the show. So we need a space for people to reach out to us. So please join our Discord at 2635 Club. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, all at 2635 Club. Anything else for the people?
Yeah, so watch AB get destroyed in some gaming. No, I'm just playing. But no, we'll put some polls out for you guys, see what you guys want us to get into on the games. Hopefully it's nothing crazy or something that I ain't never played before, because you really just gonna be upset watching bad gameplay. But yeah, join us for the pre-game gaming. I think it's gonna be interesting and fun. We'll get you guys involved. Like I said, all commentary is encouraged, and maybe you never know. Maybe we'll get you guys on the sticks with us, and we'll see what you guys can do. Give you a little 15-minute floor to promote yourself or anything you want to talk about, as long as it's respected and, as AB likes to say, G-rated. So other than that, positive mindsets make positive outcomes. This is the 2635 Club, and you don't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. So
Peace out, y'all. Have a good weekend.
deuce.